Hey everybody, it's time to take a look at what's going on in our garden here. It's the very beginning of April here in North Texas, and what I'm going to do is to plant some seeds directly in the garden here. So I've got two things here. I've got some what they call Swiss chard, but it's perpetual spinach, and I got some komatsunu, which is an old Tokyo. It's kind of a spinachy kind of chard type vegetable as well. And so what I'm going to do is, as you know, I have this bed across the back here that we've freed up, and I want to put some seeds directly in the ground. Now I've prepared the dirt here, you can see in the raised bed, and it looks really good and rich, but I want to put the seeds in and not have the seeds get lost and whatnot. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a thin layer of peat moss here, or you could use any sort of maybe a finer dirt, but it'll give me maybe a good level playing field to do the seeds. Now, one of the things that I've got last year, and maybe you've seen me use this before, is this seed square. So if you're into like the square foot gardening and stuff like that, basically this has pre-drilled holes in this template. You've got blue holes and yellow and red depending on what you're going to grow. So the idea is basically to come over here, and it's a great way to kind of be a little bit more organized and not just throw the seeds all over the place, because you end up wasting more seeds than anything. But you basically use this tool here to come in and make a little divot where you're growing. Depending on the vegetable, it has spacing needs, right? And then you just kind of put a hole in, and probably not too deep. And then you would just move it here and then keep going along. But to make it easy, see, once you make the holes, they got this little funnel. So you can then take this tool, put your seeds there, and then drop a seed, drop a seed, drop a seed with the funnel. And that way you kind of get some even spacing. The idea is you don't have to like waste all your seeds and thin it out to, just one, and it kind of spaces it for you. I've done this with seeds such as radishes and that last year, and it worked pretty good. So that's what we're going to do here with these seeds now, because they're fairly on the smallest side, these seeds. Let me open one up and I'll show you. Yeah, when you look in here, you can see the seeds. They're very tiny. So I don't know if you can see that and focus in, but yeah, you could definitely like waste all your seeds in like one spot. So this kind of these tools now kind of get you into a little bit better place to do the seeds. So anyways, however many seeds are in here, I'm going to do some of this bed with this perpetual spinach and then the Japanese spinach here, and we'll see what we get, if it sprouts like it should. All right, so let me do some of that and we'll come back. Okay, so there wasn't very many seeds in that Japanese spinach, and it really was only enough for, basically, since that's a square foot, it was only enough for 2 square feet. So I guess I'll have to buy some more of those, but I've never grown them before, so we'll see what they taste like and if I like them. So it's a good test just to put a little spot here and see what happens. Now the other thing, of course, is more traditional Swiss chard, this perpetual spinach, and you can see the seeds are much bigger, so I think I'll be able to fill up more area because there's more seeds. And Swiss chard's great because it likes the heat, and it can take some cool weather, so it's pretty good. So I'm going to use my template here and keep planting, and I'll show you some more when I'm done. Okay, so with the seeds from the 2 packets, I've covered about half the bed by spacing them in the little yellow circle, because that's for things like spinach and chard. So you can see it's kind of got little indentations there, and I like putting the peat moss on there because, like I say, it gives it something that I can see how much I've planted, because then here that doesn't have the peat moss, I'll plant some more stuff, but I don't know where I began and where I ended. So this peat moss is good, and it also, I think, gives it a better growing start, because rather than get lost in the dirt here, I have some nice peat moss. And so now I'll just cover up the seeds, right, because they're tiny, and then I'll turn on the sprinkler and get this all wet to soak it down to stabilize it. But yeah, so this is kind of a easy way to do seeds. You could have also started the seeds indoors and then transplant the plants out here, and I would do that too. But now that it's warm, I'm just putting it right in here into the bed, and let's see how it goes. Right? Hopefully, we'll get some shoots coming up here in, well, I don't know, a week, maybe a week and a half. I guess it depends on how long it takes to germinate. But anyways, there's a little planting here for some chard and spinach. We'll see how it goes here in a little bit. All right, talk to you soon. All right, so as you can see, I started the sprinkler here on the irrigation here on this side because I want to get the ground moist where I just planted my chard. So that'll get that peat moss to soak it up and absorb the moisture and help get the seeds go. So kind of this whole side now is going to be turned on, so I'll have to hold off doing any gardening in this part of the garden. But anyways, so let's see, like I say, in a week if my seeds come up, if they germinate, and what we get in terms of Swiss chard. And then what we'll plant, maybe some more chard or some other kind of leafy green here on the other side. Okay, talk to you later.